Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fuel for Success. This is episode 185. For live viewers, thanks for hanging in with us. We had a minor traffic delay, but we're with you right now. I had some turkeys crossing the road I had to slow down for, so it really delayed us. Anyway, hey, great to see everyone here. Great to see my good friend Matt, who's here with us, my co-host, my cohort, my crony, Al. And
your hero, your idol, your mentor, your coach, you name it.
yeah, and someday I aspire to be a freestyle rapper, the likes of Mr. Maddox. Yesterday's show.
After watching that, and after my son coming in the other room, bent over laughing, he begged me, said, "Dad, I'm asking you, please, don't ever do that again." He's like, "Dad, I'm going to have to start skipping first period of school just to make sure that there's certain things you don't say on your show."
Keep you on track. Hey, you know what? Life is fun. It's our show. We can sing.
We can sing, we can rap, we can dance, we can cry, we can laugh, we can scream. We can do whatever we want because it's
our show. We could actually sit here and just stare blankly into the camera and blink.
Hey, my apologies for being late. I know I put on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook that I pulled over for a nap, which I did. But that's not why I was late, because you got to understand, I dropped my son off at 8:10, right? It takes, without traffic, 15, 20 minutes to get to a school, but with traffic coming home, it's like 40 minutes. It's so bad. And it was raining so hard, and I thought, either way, I'm going to be sitting still. So I just pulled over in a parking lot to show you right here. This is not rehearsed. Let me just show you right here what stays on my phone.
Can't quite see it, but I know what you're showing.
Yes, you can. Hey, you can see my crack in my screen. But I haven't fixed yet. And it's starting to get on my nerves. How is both of our phones cracked? Let's talk about this here. This tells me a lot. I know, Al, we're waiting on the iPhone 6, and we're too focused on business. We take our cash and we pay our bills, and then we take any extra cash and put it back in the business. So we don't eat, we don't buy stuff, we just hustle. That's all. We just hustle and sacrifice.
Stuff?
Mike, tell us. Way too much. Tell us what's going on today, my friend. I know today is a show that all of us need, and that's spirituality. Tell us a little bit about what's going on today.
I got anxious there for a minute. I thought you were going to steal my line. I'm like, hey, I get to do that.
I know. I'm actually, you know what? I decided I'm not going to steal your lines anymore after that text you sent me last night telling me how much it bothered you and that you were not going to talk to me anymore. I was like, you know what? I'm going to save our friendship and not do this anymore because I felt your pain last night in the text you sent.
Well, thanks, Matt. As y'all can tell, we're both raving egomaniacs, so we want to make sure that we get our lines in. Totally not true. Otherwise, we wouldn't do things like freestyle rap on the show. Hey, so today is Wednesday. I love Wednesdays, and just like every Wednesday, we're going to talk about spirituality today. And of course, our spirit lives on forever. So spirituality is a key fundamental principle of being successful. If you're not successful spiritually, then any success you have will be short-lived. So it's important. It's important.
It is important. It is very important. In fact, because this is Fuel for Success and we talk about success, there's no way to have success without God. I mean, you can have success, in any area of your life, but if you don't have God, you're still going to have a void. You're going to have an emptiness. You're going to have, there's going to be an itch you can't scratch. Only God can fulfill. So, to all of our viewers out there, whether you're a Christian or not, or whether you go to church or not, the message that we bring on Wednesday mornings is a side of spirituality that everyone needs in their life. Even if you're not quite ready to go to church, or if maybe you've been burnt by religion, like some of our viewers have shared in the past, which I appreciate and respect their viewpoints. But at the end of the day, my friends, it's like what I was telling a lady that I met on a plane who was an atheist. I said, look, she was so confused because she was dating a Jew and her parents are hardcore Catholic, and one of her best friends is a Mormon. And she's like, and I said, look, my best advice is forget all religion right now. Literally forget it. Don't read any more about it. Don't talk to anybody else about it. Like, completely eliminate it from your thoughts and your focus, and focus on one thing for the next 30 days. Focus on seeking God. I said, I know you don't believe in God. I said, so hear me out. I want you to pray for 30 days straight, and I want you to be real about it. I literally want you to tell God in your opening statement, God, I don't even believe you exist. I don't know why I'm praying, but this gentleman on a plane told me to, so I'm going to give it a try. I mean, I walked her through like her first prayer. And I said, you know what? I want you to practice. So we had a 4-hour flight, so, it's not like either one of us are going anywhere. So I had her practicing her first prayer on my flight. It was awesome. The people were sitting behind us were like, whoa, this is pretty intense, She got an atheist up there doing her first prayer ever with me, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty raw. I appreciated it, and I said, look, I'm going to tell you about what I know about God. I said, within 30 days, he's going to show himself to you, and you're going to find God actually to be very real. So, anyways, how do you like that, man? Sitting next to someone who's an atheist, dating a Jew, parents hardcore Catholic, best friend Mormon. No wonder her brain is twisted.
It's funny to me from an outside perspective to think about that, and clearly that was a God ordained moment. But to her, she has no idea. You're just some guy on a plane. To me, I'm thinking she has no idea. She's sitting next to Matt Maddox, right?
Well, it was amazing how it kind of unfolded, because I wasn't even supposed to be on that flight, and neither was she. Both of us happened to get rerouted and ended up on the same flight. So it was funny. I mean, you're right, Mike. I mean, it was like, yeah, it was a God thing for sure, because I really, truly believe. In fact, I'm going to text her today and follow up again. Last time I checked, she's doing it. She's praying. She said, sometimes I feel something, sometimes I don't. And I said, that's okay. Just stick with it. Whatever you do, don't read about religion. Whatever you do, don't talk to your boyfriend, your mom, or your best friend right now. Just keep the religion subject out of the equation and just focus on one thing, and that's God. But anyways.
That actually brings me to one of our questions, Matt. And things can be confusing to someone, especially when someone's first trying to develop a relationship with God, trying to figure out what this is all about. The landscape can be extraordinarily confusing. There's so many different, I don't know, like you said, there's almost like options and this confusion, and it seems to me, and complexity. There's complexity in the whole trying to understand who is God and what am I supposed to do and what is spirituality, and even within the narrower confines of quote unquote Christianity, there can be confusion, and I think a lot of that is caused by people tend to want to be self-important, and so they expound and expound and expound and complicate and complexify things and add complexity. And yet, my viewpoint is that serving God and having a relationship with God and being spiritual is ultimately a very simple thing. It's not complex.
It is.
And so to kind of bring it down and boil it down, let's say that somebody's watching the show and maybe they're in that same place and maybe they're Christian by nature or whatever, or maybe they're not quite atheist or whatever, but they're trying to find, that path to God. What are 3 simple basic things that they should do on a regular basis? Maybe 3 habits they should form, 3 ways that they can get closer to God and really kind of develop their own spirituality.
Mike, what I really love what you said, my friend, is about keeping it simple. It's funny you say that. Last night after Caleb's baseball training, we went and got something to eat. We were sitting there, and I said, Caleb, I said, listen, I said, I'm going to bring it home to you, okay, Bubba? I said, I'm going to give you something today that could change your life for the rest of your life. And I said, Caleb, I want you to really listen. When it comes to sports, money, relationships, life, success, I said, here's my best piece of advice. Are you ready? And he's like, he's leaning in. He's like, yeah. I said, my best piece of advice, son, is keep it simple. And he started laughing. He goes, I thought you were going to give some wow, I said, really, Caleb, straight up. I said, that's really what it comes down to in everything. Working out, health, God, spirituality, money, sports. Keep it simple, man. Don't overcomplicate it and don't get all this stuff up here, because when this gets clouded up here, you lose the ability to flow, and it's all about the flow. And even in our relationship with God, it's all about the flow. So let me bring it home to you like this. You said 3 things we can do to what now, Mike? 3 things we can do to get closer to God? Is that what?
Get closer to God, yeah.
Look, man, of course everybody's going to say prayer. I mean, talking to God is the best way of getting close to Him, okay? Another way of getting close to God is becoming extremely transparent about it. Like I know a lot of people that still are not honest with God. Like they're afraid of God. I'm not afraid of God. I'm not afraid to God. I'm not afraid to tell God exactly how I feel. So my feeling is this. If Jesus can scream, why have you forsaken me? Then I think God can handle my humanity and my questions and my fears or you know what? Let me be real with you. I've had questions about my faith before. I have. I've gone to God and said, God, now I got to tell you, Lord, just because I need some help with this. There's a few things I just don't believe. And like the blind man said, he said, I believe, but help my unbelief. Because I got belief here, but I also got some unbelief and stuff where I'm just like, God, I'm not quite sure about this, right? Believe it or not, Mike, talking to God that way causes you to get closer to Him. The question is, what are 2 or 3 practical things? So talking to God and being transparent. Of course, another way to get really close to God is to humble yourself. When you walk in humility and gratitude, it's like a magnet to God's presence in your life. I mean, there is such a flood of God's presence when someone is humble and grateful. And when you live your life, when you literally bury your ego and your selfishness and you live your life to serve people. Like, Mike, when I felt God the most? When we've been in those shelters serving homeless people or taking a sleeping bag and covering a homeless person up while they sound asleep and them not even knowing it was us. I felt closest to God in those moments. Moments when I felt like I completely have been walking in gratitude. Of course, Mike, I'll give you one more thing that has helped me, believe it or not, and it's tough. So what I like to do is, Mike, I don't like to always give the obvious answers, even though the obvious answer is pray, read the Bible, worship, right? All of those things will get you close to God. But there's some other things. There really is. And one thing that's helped me, and I don't know if this is even like an answer to maybe close to God or maybe healing in God or becoming whole in God. Do you know, Mike, one of the number 1 reasons why people, there's no way to separate our relationships with others and our walk with God is intertwined. God even said, how can you love me if you don't love your brother who you see? Jesus even said, if you, all throughout the Bible, it's about relationships, right? Our relationships with others is also a reflection of our relationship with God. So what's helped me? And this happened last night. Do you ever just reach times where you need to vent? And when I say vent, you don't, when you get to a place where you need to vent, you don't, what's the word? You don't filter it. You don't try to say the right thing. You just say what's right here, right? And very few of us have friends where you can say what's right here, because some of it, let's be real, most Christianity is scary on the side of how unable they are to deal with other people's weaknesses. It's so funny to me. And it's like Jesus said, he that is without sin, let him throw the first stone. Like, who is without sin? Who is without weakness? You know what I'm saying? So, like, Christianity, in my opinion, as great as I think it is and as nearly perfect as I think it is, if I could say one thing that I find troubling is how unable we are to deal with other people's failures and sins. And I think that's a problem, because I think what happens is, because we don't have a safe place to maybe confess our struggles, our questions, or whatever, then we end up completely destroying ourselves, because no man is an island to himself. So, like, it brought healing to me last night to be able to vent. It lifted me. I went to bed feeling closer to God, and I feel sorry for the person that I vented to. They probably went to bed, like, stayed up all night, like, oh my God, but I went to bed and slept good. So anyways, there's two types of people that need healing, Mike. The venter and the one that got vented on. Anyways, that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, and in the church world, the lack of transparency causes a breakdown of communication and honesty. And how can you really get closer to God without transparency and honesty? So I agree, that's definitely a barrier. Hey, I would add one thing, and Britton mentioned it, is fasting. We really live in a world, especially those of us in North America, that constantly feeds us. And I don't mean just food, but we're a consumption society. We consume, and taking a break from consuming everything from media to food to whatever, all the things that we consume on a daily basis. I mean, have you ever stopped to just think about all the stuff that you consume in a day? Like, take a break from that consumption mentality for a day or 2 days or 3 days. And I'm personally a big fan of literally not eating during a fast. I'm a sort of a purist when it comes to that, because I think that that it has major breakthroughs, because we're body, soul, and spirit, and all those things intertwine. And when we stop the consumption, our body begins to yield to the spirit, and so there's a balancing that brings that to the forefront and gets us closer to God. And I can say that from personal experience, because I know that it works, and I know that it helps me, and I know that it's drawn me closer to God in many ways.
That's good stuff. That's really good stuff, and I agree. In fact, I really agree, because I was actually just talking to someone this weekend who had gone through a bad divorce and was dealing with all kinds of just baggage, and she's like extremely full of God and full of peace, and like, she's radiant, right? And I asked her, I said, how did you get there? And she said, a 30-day fast. She said, I had to go on a 30-day cleanse. See, what a lot of people don't get about fasting is it's not just so much the not eating. It's like what you said. It's literally going through a time where you pull away from all the stuff that, like you said, all the consumption, the stuff, the busyness, the noise. Most people, this is what we talked about, I can't remember maybe it was yesterday. Most people don't ever slow down to do the inner work of healing. Most people, that's why most people can't deal with quiet, because then they got to face the real issues, or they got to face, that's why maybe you see someone that's always busy, always noisy, never like sits still, never like, slows down. A lot of it is because they don't want to deal with, maybe deeper issues within their life, But anyways, I know that's a whole other subject, but I did want to say that I do believe fasting is a very, very, very effective way of getting closer to God. And if you're not able to do a water-only fast, of course, I would tell anybody this. Study about fasting, read books about it. Always, if you're going to do a long fast, consult with your doctor first. And, do it wisely. Like you can actually damage your body if you don't fast the right way. But I will say this, probably one of the most powerful spiritual practices that you could do is consistently fasting 1 day a week. And it's not only spiritual, but even for your own body, how good it would be for your body to have a break, to just rest and, let the immune system work and not, when you're always feeding your body nonstop, think of the amount of stuff we put in our body over a year's period of time. So if you don't fast and give your body a rest, but it's physical. I like what you said, Mike. It's physical and spiritual.
It is, absolutely. God in His wisdom designed us that way, so that fasting is a way for us to really reset our bodies and our minds and our spirits in a certain way. Kind of like hitting the reboot button on your PC that doesn't work.
I like what Stacy asked the question. She said, I honestly could use someone to vent occasionally. My struggles, I don't want to weigh them down or worry them. I should be strong enough. I should be strong for them, I think she's saying thoughts. So, Stacy, let me say this, and I get this. Believe me, I struggled with this and still do from time to time. When you're naturally a positive person and you're naturally a giver, like I know you, Stacy, you're naturally a giver. I can relate with that. I'm the giver. I'm always the giver. I feel like I am. I feel like I want to be the one that listens. I want to be the one that asks questions. I want to be the one to be there. I want to be the one to support. And it's hard. It's challenging. I don't want to use the word hard. It is a challenge to be vulnerable, to tell your friends, I need you right now. You asked for some thoughts. My only thought for you would be, again, it all goes back to transparency and telling your friends, look, man, I know you're not used to seeing the side of me. I've done this. Mike has seen it firsthand over the last 5 years of working with me. There's been a couple of times I literally have said, Mike, like, I'm in a bad place right now. And I'm just, I'm not able to bring me, or I'm not able to do whatever, and thankfully he's hey, you know what, I got you, man. It's good. A real friend. See, that's why you need real friends. And that's a process to find out who your real friends are. Most of your real friends, when you vent and you admit spiritual struggle or weakness, like they actually think more of you. Like they don't look at you like, oh man, I'm really disappointed in you, Mike. It troubles me that you struggle with smoking. Like, man, which he doesn't, right? It's our long-standing fuel for success fun joke. Anyways, but yeah, I would just say, like, sometimes you need to be weak. Sometimes it's okay to not always have to be the strong one in a relationship. Sometimes that's why the Bible says 2 are better than 1, for if one falls, the other one picks up, right? And that's how it's supposed to be in relationships. It's really bad, though, like in a partnership when you both are down at the same time. I think that's happened to Mike and I maybe twice. We both were like, shoot us now! Shoot us both right now! You know what I'm saying?
Like, let's just hang up the phone and we'll connect.
Why me? Crucify me! Why me? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah.
Actually, those moments are okay too, because sometimes you just, it's important to have a sense of humor, because in those moments you sort of laugh about it and make jokes about how bad it is. So, then it really builds camaraderie. Anyway, I think that what you said, and we've covered finding safe people so many times on this show, but it's so critical for this sort of a situation for Stacy. You got to find safe people, test the waters with them, and make sure that they're safe people. And what you don't want to vent to someone that's going to try to fix it, right? And
Exactly.
if someone vents to you, don't be like in there trying to fix it, and don't be like, "Oh, I've been there. I know what you're talking." Like that. People don't want to hear that either. It's condescending. It's like, no, you don't
You know
know.
what? Yeah, exactly. You know what's funny is when I went through my divorce, a very tragic time in my life, I had friends that I called or that, whatever, that were always trying to give me advice. And then I literally pulled away from them. And a couple of them like, man, Matt, it really made me mad that you pulled away. And I said, you know something? I understand that. And I probably should have told you why I pulled away. But to be quite just straight up frank with you, I didn't need any advice at that time in my life. Like there are moments, like, okay, for example, when someone, let's talk about this. This is huge. Like grief. Like you know how many funerals I've been to where I wanted to like kind of just slap someone upside the head and say, don't say that. Like literally the best thing you do when you're at a funeral is just say, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But to say, attention, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever at a funeral, don't ever tell somebody that their loved one is in a better place. Ever. You don't think they know that? Of course they know that. They don't need to hear that. Like okay, let's talk about some funeral etiquette. I'll tell you 5 things to never say right now. Don't ever say to them, they're in a better place. Don't ever say, he looks so good. I've seen people look at a dead body, saying, oh, he looks so good. I understand. Listen, I know people mean well and they haven't been trained and haven't been taught. We do need more etiquette teaching. We should have had etiquette classes in school. We need etiquette in a lot of different areas of life, not just funerals, right? We need etiquette at weddings. Whole nother discussion. But anyways, don't ever say, oh, he looks so good. Or don't ever say, like I said, don't ever say he's in a better place. Don't ever say, he would want you to be strong right now. I've literally heard people say, your dad would want you to be strong right now. Like literally at funerals, nobody is going to listen to your advice. I see it happen too many times. People just want to cry or laugh or talk. Just be there. Like put your arm around them and listen. Let them know, say, I love you, man. Praying for you. I'm sorry. Like the least amount of words that you can say at a funeral, the better. Hear me? Remember that. Next time you're at a funeral, the least that you can say, going back to my advice to Caleb, keep it simple. Man, I love you, Mike. I'm so sorry, man. I really am so sorry. I hate, I'm hurting with you. I mean, that's the most that I'm praying for you. And just stand there and be with them. And when they start talking, let them talk. If they start talking about their dad, I've seen people cut people off. Like when someone is standing there and talking about their loved one and talking about, man, my dad was just such an amazing man. I'm really going to miss him. Like, smile and listen. Say, man, I can imagine, just like listen. Just listen. Let them talk. And obviously we're going to need 30 minutes to cover funeral etiquette because there's a lot more I want to say, but I just realized we're at 28 minutes and 45 seconds.
So we'll be starting our etiquette series tomorrow.
Well, I'm not the king of etiquette. There's still a lot of training I need in etiquette, obviously, but I'm working on it.
You know what? A great rule of thumb is this. Remember this. If you have to remember one thing about etiquette at funerals, at weddings, at any of those things, one rule of thumb, it's not about you.
Ooh, good quote. That's our new, at Fuel for Success, we need t-shirt themes like our show. It's not about you. Fuel for Success. We rap. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Oh, man. Oh, same thing with hospitals. I've seen people just blow it when they go into hospitals. I see it happen all the time on Facebook. People giving advice, you know, just, oh, they're on streets of gold now. You know, they made it home to their reward. They're with Jesus now. Look, man, people do not need to hear that. You may think they do. They don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as Melody said, wow, father-in-law passed away suddenly, and her husband that was pastoring one of the saints came up to him and told him to smile, follow next Sunday.
Yeah, and that
Melody, be sad about.
That's when you want to just say, you know what, Lord, if you want to kill these people, you can. Has anybody besides me ever prayed for someone to die? Has anybody just ever just said, Lord, like, everybody's going to die at some point? Everybody. So this one, go ahead and take now. Anybody besides me just ever just shared that with Jesus before? Stuff, Mike. Well, again, guys, Mike and I try really hard not to be late. I had to wait on Mike this morning, or we would have started right at 9. But we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for Fuel for Success. We really enjoyed being with you, my friends. Enjoy your day. And hey, listen, just keep it simple and love God and be honest and be transparent and be real and be sincere. Sincerity. That's another thing we need more of, is more sincerity. And when you're sincere and you're honest about stuff, you're going to win with God, my friends. You really will. And some of the people that you may think are the most spiritual are not the most spiritual. It's a perception. Anyways, we love you guys, my friends. Enjoy your day. And Mike, could you sum up this show in maybe 20 seconds, my friend?
Actually, less than that. 2 things. One is Hannah is now literally afraid of you. Because she's
really? What happened?
Because she's afraid God. We're going to pray that God takes her.
Nah, it's not. I don't do that out of bitterness. Usually it's just me saying, Lord, take them now. Take them now, Jesus.
And one other thing.
Or it's been me like, what? No. In raw honesty, it's been me saying, you know, God, I love you, but I've seen him take really good people from me. And I said, Lord, I got a whole long list of people that if you're going to choose one, here, take them off this list. You know what I'm saying? Not the good ones. Don't take the good ones, Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to say, you know. But, hey, you think God's mad at me right now? Nope. He loved me. He loved me like a boy.
And
he loves me like a son, I should say.
And otherwise, it's all about etiquette. We're going to be starting our etiquette series soon. And to Melody, we're going to cover in a future show whether or not you can punch someone in the face without laying aside the Holy Ghost. We'll talk about that.
Who said that? I missed it.
Melody.
That's what you say. Oh.
Lay aside the Holy Ghost to punch you in the face. You might be able to do that without laying it aside. We'll see. We'll talk.
Exactly. People ask me all the time, do you think you'll ever pastor again? And I'm like, are you insane? Are you kidding? Absolutely not. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Lord. I didn't mean it. Anyways, so you guys have a blast today. What, Mike?
Don't ever tell God what you're not going to do.
Yeah. Except, you know, the good stuff. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, Mike, we're going to be talking about business and entrepreneurship. And then Friday is our favorite show, family and relationships. Can't believe it's already Wednesday. What I can't believe more is that it's already September 17th. And in 10 days, I will be turning, and I'm not going to tell you. Because it's starting to feel older now. But I'm still in great shape.
That'll be 26.
And I still act young.
That's right.
And I still act young. So I'm cool with that.
All right. Hey, thanks everyone for joining. If you have any questions, email them to me, mike@mathematics.com. Text them in 727-341-5599. We will see you tomorrow for our show on business and entrepreneurship. Make the most of your Wednesday. And rock your spiritual world.
I'm not mad, but as a friend, I feel like I should be able to be honest with you. I was the one that was supposed to close the show. You open it, I close it.
I really beg your forgiveness.
Tomorrow I'm stealing the opening line, my friend.
I'm all the time talking over you. I'm so sorry.
Check dog. All right, get out of here. We love you guys. God bless you. Enjoy your day, my friends.